Really good to meet you all. I think it was a pretty good opening for me from John, right? So he made my segment pretty easy, so that as he could cover a lot of ground in terms of how banking started and where is it leading towards, right? And we really picked it up in the banking revolution, right? So we have been doing this good stuff for a long time. Maybe I don't want to go too much into technology, right? I just want to give you a perspective on how we are looking at it and what are the opportunities available for us and how we can really make an impact, right? That's what we want to bring, right? So if you look at, typically banks have a lot of data, right? So collect data about customer, their patterns, the transactions they are doing, right? The data is fragmented, right? And also there's a lot of different varied customer base you are interacting, right? You have millennials, Gen X, Y, Z, and you have users who are not so tech savvy, right? So they are also using the platform, and there are a lot of systems within the banks, right? So you have a data warehousing team, master data team, you have a process guy sitting in the corner and doing stuff, right? So what we have always looked at is how can we bring this all together, right? In between, there's also chatbot and internet banking and a lot of these stuff happening, right? But often these are not well connected, right? Which makes it a little challenging for our customers. And we also look at how we can make this impact to the customers, how they can feel all of these are connected and they are getting a pretty good experience in dealing with any institution, right? Be it a bank or insurance organization, right? And that's where we are looking at how to transform your experience as an end user, be it a bank, be it a customer or your internal stakeholders, right? So it's very important that we give a connected experience, not a siloed experience which you see out there. So, right, so your payment system doesn't talk to your maybe core banking, right? Or your tele system doesn't talk to your document management, right? So all of these are pretty much there, but these are not connected in a unified manner, right? So what we have looked at is there's always a constant threat from multiple angles, right? You have regulatory pressure in terms of kind of complying to new changes, and these are very important, right? So to make sure it's about data privacy, it's about making sure your documents are stored, and you're obligated to react to all these regulatory pressures. And in the meantime, it's also very tough for you to manage the customer expectations, right? The interaction levels have gone up. There is a mobile, there is a branch, and there are digital experiences which we are seeing has taken a front end. And still you have to show ROI. You have to improve your top line, right? So what we have seen, let's say for example, Joe's, he's a guy who is heading the retail banking. And he always have a challenge in terms of where can I go and how do I sell my products and how do I make it profitable for his segment, right? There are a lot of use cases which are working on pretty cool stuff, right? Which really helps in undermining what you know about your customer and what you can do with them, right? It could be prediction, customer lifetime value, even analyzing how the customers have been in the past with you and then help you with a churn management use case, right? So that makes him happy, right? So you give him necessary set of tools. And Maria, in this case, she's heading the risk. It's always there is a constant pressure in terms of what are we lending towards, and what is the collateral, and what is an unsecured loans which they are dealing with, right? And she gets a pretty handy set of tools, right, which helps her in doing the assessment and making sure she is able to lend as well as collect, and also the financial inclusiveness and everything is taken care as part of her portfolio, right? So that makes it much easier for us, right, along with the regulatory reporting. And switching the gears, there is a whole lot of impact on Gen AI, right? Everybody is talking about it, and it's pretty cool stuff, right? So I've heard John talking about they have started using this for code writing, right? But there is always a purpose-based use case which we believe in, right? Let's say this is a contract. You want to interact with the contract. Go ahead and ask questions within this contract document. It gives you maybe a summary of what is it about and what are the payment due dates which you have, right? It's a simple bot which is also governed by your data regulations, who can see what and who can inquire what within your framework. And it can be as simple as indexing, right? You're just throwing a file into system. You don't want a garbage in after a few years, but you want to make sure these are properly tagged, classified, personal data is identified, masked into the document, and then use it appropriately in your value chain, right? And this is other use case which we also recently added into our stack to create a canned responses or contextual responses to interact with the customer based on your empathy, based on your method of interaction. Is it a second follow-up, third follow-up which you are doing with your customer? Make it more personalized, and we do all of this through our Cloud AI platform, right? So these are pretty good models which are out of the box available, and drag and drop them, create your model, and get going with your prediction use cases, right? So it looks pretty simple, but yeah, it needs a little of data engineering. But we have really made it simple for the end users to pick it up, create their models, and quickly deploy them, and even simulate them on the fly, right? So AI alone is not going to make a big impact because this is one of the enablers in our perspective, right? So once you create all of this, you can even simulate, visualize the graphs and charts, which can directly come out from the system, right? So we really want to make sure there is a value to what we are building against, right? And that's part of AI, right? And it's really there to help us. But just that is not going to make the end game, right? So we are looking at really moving ahead and combining it with our low code to make sure that we are going ahead of this, right? AI is one of the enablers, and traditionally what we have been seeing is a lot of challenges in terms of different departments using siloed approach, right? And what we are looking to do is to connect everything together, right? Be it your customers, middle office, back office, branch, agent banking, and then tying them up to your core banking, right? So that your system of record is up to date and clean. And all of these are happening in one single system, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg which we are looking at, but definitely let's hear what the experts are talking about, right? So like Gartner, in this use case, they are predicting that there is over 70% of applications which would move into this direction, right? So AI and low code is the way to move, and we have already started seeing this wave across ASEAN. In the Philippines, a lot of banks have started moving towards this direction, right? So which makes them one single team who knows the platform, faster go to market, democratize the platform. Like Standard Chartered, they have trained more than 200 folks on the platform. They are building apps as good as 2 to 3 months and then quickly going to market, right? That's the speed the banks are looking at, and make it easy and give it back to your developers or citizen developers. They're able to pick it up and quickly get it going, right? So if you look at, you cannot have one black box sitting out there and helping you. It's a one single integrated platform. You can have it under the hood, right? Which talks about process, documentation, communication, give the right message to the right stakeholder at the right time, right? So that's what we enable using our contextual communication and document classification platform along with AI, right? So what it does for you is one, typically I like to connect to the analogy of Lego blocks, right? So you can assemble your Lego blocks in a way where it makes it easy for you. You can leverage on what you already have and build use cases on top of it. It could be cakes or Digicur, onboarding, video KYC, right? So that we enable the use case of remote banking, right? So you can be at your home just with the connection of network, you can get it going from there, right? And it goes beyond. It helps your marketing team, operations, your reporting team who are sitting in the back end, your DevOps and CI/CD team, right, who are able to run this for you at large, right? So pretty simple, easy to use, integrated stack, which allows you to move up the gear, right? So remember, we had these challenges, right? Now let's look at how we are going to overcome this, right? With a combination of AI and low code, where we are talking about customer experience in total. It's a total experience, right? So it's about your operational efficiency, so that we don't want to automate what you're doing. We want to challenge every process, right? So go back and put it to your drawing board and ask the right questions to make sure, am I doing it right? Why should I do this, right? And how can I make it better for my customer, right? So we typically probe all of these and make sure we bring in a total experience to our customers with the integrated stack. Like a global bank, they've adopted this. Over 50 countries, they have rolled out the platform, right? And they have more than 200 developers. So they are able to do it across multiple journeys, be it commercial, retail, lending use cases, wealth management. There are a lot of use cases we have been doing, right? So it's a one single stack where we have helped a lot of use cases to be created, right? And these are owned by the banks. So what we typically look at is how do you transform your customer experience? This is very important. This is the priority which we have which we recommend to have in all of your pursuits, right? And how do you make it end to end, right? I really hate the bandage kind of solution, so that you just do one part of automation, but you forget the rest and you don't tie them to each other, right? There is always handoff issues. Integrations are really going to cost us big time, right? We have seen a lot of outages in payment systems, because these are not well architected, integrated, and make it easier for the customers. AI is definitely going to up the game, but this is not going to replace any one of us, right? Because this is assistive bot or co-pilot for us in decision making, right? It's really cool stuff, and customer can connect to us from anywhere. Viber, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, right? There's a whole lot of growing data privacy concerns, but these are all the preferred channels for the customer, right? And you have to be open and listen to all of this, and make sure your teams are collaborating, right? Your business, IT, transformation, operations, all of them are collaborating using the platform, so that they know what they want, and you can question them, envision the end product, and make sure the end use cases are delivered rapidly to your stakeholders, and you bring in the difference there, right? So that's a combination of AI and low code. You switch on your gears to a transformation mode, and this gives you a complete power of controlling your AI in terms of what you expect it to do, and give the right set of data, and get going from there, right? So this is what we look at. This is an enterprise use case which we are transforming for a lot of banks, and a one single stack to automate everything. Thank you.